Hi, it's me. I want to talk about knitting with human hair. Now, if you don't know me, hi, I'm Östen. I'm a textile studies major at the University of Uppsala in Sweden. By the time this video comes out, I'll probably be a master, and I am in possession of a lot of human hair. In fact, it's not just the stuff on my head, I've actually got some old hair as well. And I wanted to come on here and talk to you guys about the use of human hair within crafting historically. Now, quick disclaimer that this is going to be quite Eurocentric, even Sweden-centric, as that is my main field of study. But if you have any information about traditions concerning human hair and crafting in other places, please leave them down in the comments. Human hair can be quite, it can be a creepy topic. Sometimes when I bring it up, people are like, ooh. And that's kind of weird, as people usually are surrounded by at least some hair on their bodies. People with alopecia are excused, but a lot of people have hair somewhere. And in our current culture, we sort of associate human hair with a bit of creepiness. You know, it's the stuff you pick out of the drain when you're cleaning it. It's something you don't want in your food. And if I bring this old braid up, people might think that's actually kind of creepy, even though it's my own hair. And you know what, when I cut this off, it was kind of creepy to me too. Anyway, human hair is very durable. It's got quite the good tensile strength, and that's why you should never throw human hair into nature or try to get birds to use it in their nests, because human hair doesn't break very easily. So when birds, or baby birds in particular, are in the nest made with human hair, it can tangle around their little legs and cut off circulation and result in not good outcomes for the birds. So don't do that, and maybe don't flush your hair down the toilet, because that will also cause a blockage. So yeah, human hair is quite strong and can be and has been used for shoring up the quality of, for example, mittens and socks before we had polyester fibers. But when I say crafting with human hair, I'm sure a lot of you start thinking about Victorian mourning jewelry, which is, you know, kind of creepy, kind of cool, and something that those crazy Victorians were up to that seems weird to us today. Sometimes they really seem like they were obsessed with death and remembering people, and having a lock of someone's hair like that could be a cool way of commemorating them. But beyond the scope of just mourning jewelry, hair jewelry is actually a tradition that isn't just about death. In Scandinavia and Russia, we see people using human hair to make jewelry of people who are alive, just not there right now, or to commemorate a special occasion. And it's said that this tradition probably started in Russia, and working women who were migrating from Sweden just for the work and coming back to the villages would pick up this craft and start a tradition in the region of Dalecarlia. So especially today, hair crafting is still used in the village of Vomhus. Vomhuskullorna are known for their use of human hair in making jewelry and crafting. And people would employ these women who knew how to do this to make something to remember their loved ones by. And even to this day, people can come with a piece of hair like this and say, I want you to make a brooch for me. And then they start braiding it, sort of like bobbin lace making, and it turns into something beautiful, like this. But when it comes to knitting with human hair, as I've said before, it's all about making sure that the garment you're making doesn't break very easily. As I've said, the tensile strength of hair is quite good, and it doesn't wear very much. It will wear, but it won't break. It just looks shit. So people would use human hair as well as cow hair and horse's hair to blend with the wool fiber in the yarn to make socks extra sturdy. And today, if you buy sock yarn, you can often tell that it has a bit of polyester in it, which works the same way. It's a very strong fiber that shores up the wool so it doesn't break when you use it, when you wear it, when you make holes into it. And human hair would be used in the same way. People would also use their own hair to make something called hair rats, again back to the Victorians, which would be like when you make a big hairstyle that's supposed to have a big poof and that you comb your hair over. Before you had hairspray, you'd use the leftovers from your comb like this and collect it in a box like this until you had enough to make a rat, which is just a clump of hair in a net that matches your hair color because it's your own hair. And then you can use this hair rat to shore up your own hair in your hairstyles and make your hair look extra thick, since it, you know, it's just pieces that have fallen off. Why not use them? But my special topic of interest today is sailors' mittens from Bohuslän. Bohuslän is a region of Sweden along the west coast, close to Norway. It used to be a part of Norway, but it isn't anymore after a bit of warring about it. And the region of Bohuslän is known for its stonemasonry and its fisheries. And when you work on a boat, you want mittens that are weatherproof, sort of wet resistant, and when you're hauling and steering and doing things on the ship, you also don't want your mittens to wear too fast. So they would use human hair in the mittens to both sort of weatherproof and make them more sturdy for use on the boats. And then these mittens would also have 2 thumbs. Now, in the same way as the hair rat users would be economical and make sure that they use their own hair, the wives of the fishermen would also pick their long strands of hair out from their combs or brushes and use that to knit into the fabric of the mittens. And this was a custom up until the middle of the 20th century, when the fishing industry in Bohuslän sort of broke down because of new laws and regulations about small amounts of fishing. After it fell out of fashion for women to have that sort of long hair that you could make into these mittens, the fishermen still wanted them, so they looked for alternatives, and I've read an account about some fishermen going to a hair salon and asking for the cutoffs from the floor, but that wasn't long enough, so it would be scratchier, because you want fibers to be long so they're smooth. I brought a measuring tape to see what kind of length we're working with. What do you think? I've been growing this hair out for 4 years now, only cutting it like maybe once a year, a couple centimeters, and it's down to my waist, and the official measurement to the bottom is 45 centimeters. I don't know what that is in inches, but I might put up a converter. It's just hair. Hopefully it will grow out again. There we go. So I'm back with even shorter hair and the new detached braid, but I'm not going to be using this one for the project. I'm actually going to be using comb offs that I mentioned before for hair rats and stuff. So what we're having for materials is, as I said, the comb offs for my hair from when it was long, and some homespun yarn in this grey, which I've made myself, because apparently when I looked it up on the museum website of Bohuslän's museum, they said that it was traditional either to spin the yarn with the hair from the beginning or knit it double, as you might do a mohair. But it's not mohair, it's my hair. There was some talk on the website about, you know, the classic, oh, my lover or my fiance or my mother or my sister did these for me and she knit all of her love with the hair into them. And I think it's more for the practicalities of it being water resistant, having human hair in it, than the actual love factor, but you always get those kinds of stuff within the folklore, like, ooh, And I looked on the website at pictures of the mittens, and they usually have just no increases for the thumbs, so I'm gonna do that. And some of them didn't have hair in the ribbing, so I'm gonna also do that, even though I have a lot of hair. But I think I might save myself the trouble, because I'm thinking doubling it up might be a bit more challenging than just knitting without the hair. But let's get to it! So you'll need a set of double-pointed needles, a gauge, some yarn, make a swatch, just because some people will check your work, and if I posted a pattern without it, they would hate me for it. So start doing 6 centimeters of ribbing without any human hair in it, and then start adding human hair. First pick up 3 strands, or however much you need to feel that you have enough in the work. My strands are pretty long, so if you need to add a few while you're doing one of the needles, that's fine. Otherwise, just add them when you switch needles. Make sure that the strands of hair are lying parallel to the yarn that you're using, so that all of them end up in the work and not just poking out of the sides. And do 6 centimeters of stockinette with human hair until you reach the thumb, and you do the thumb insert by knitting 2 and then picking up some scrap yarn. Knit 8 stitches with the scrap yarn. And then you start picking the stitches back up to the needle that they just came from. So that will be an extra sort of round of stitches, which you will then go over with the project yarn again. Take these stitches out at the end when you're picking the thumb up. Finish the round, and that's what it's supposed to look like. Remember to do 2 thumbs on each mitten. Keep doing stockinette until the work reaches your pinky finger. Decrease in a wedge pattern, leaving 2 stitches on each side. So knit 1 stitch SSK, knit all the rest of them, knit until there's 3 stitches remaining on the next one, knit 2 together, turn, knit 1 SSK, knit all of the ones on the double pointed, and then do the next one again until 3 remain, knit 2 together, and knit 1. And then when you only have edge stitches left, cut the thread and secure the top by picking up the stitches with a tapestry needle. So to pick up the thumb, you start where you left the scrap yarn, and you just pick the stitches around the scrap yarn up in the V shape that they sort of exist. First starting below the thumb and then picking up over the thumb grip. You remove the scrap yarn to reveal the hole. And you knit the thumb, measuring with your hand in the mitten until the bottom of your fingernail, and then decrease until the top is done. Do a second one on the same mitten, and then you have a mitten with 2 thumbs. And then, once you finish the second one, you're done. Technically speaking, according to some museum collection guidelines, these now count as human remains. And they're finished perfectly in time for the season, that season being the herring fishing season in Bohuslän, which I think begins in November and goes over the winter. So if you're interested in making your own pair of double-thumbed mittens to make 4 thumbs up, you can check out my Ravelry, which I will link in the description below, where you can get the pattern for free. It's in English, so a lot of people will be able to understand it. And if you like this video, please leave a like, maybe think about subscribing, and follow me on Instagram if you want to. That's it from me. Tack för hänget gänget, ha det fint! Also, please tell me my new haircut looks nice.